It's very heartening to see so many students here after such a long period of time. So it is really very encouraging for the society as a whole. Actually, this fear of COVID for the last 2 years had crippled us. Okay, to the extent that we are even our fellow teachers, we are afraid of each other, coming near, close to each other, due to the fear. So, actually, we are in a mode of death, and then now life is again gradually taking its place. It's kind of, what should I say, that the phoenix is rising again from the ashes. Now to talk about, the students came to me a couple of days ago, requesting me as usual to say something and probably to speak, sing a song. So I said, okay, fine. There are a lot of teachers; they will be speaking. I will not speak again. In place of that, I will sing a couple of songs for you. Okay, then later I thought that probably this is my last. This is obviously not probably. Robindra Jayanti here. This is my last program, Robindra Jayanti program that I will be attending, because after July I will be retiring. So there is no chance of interacting with you again. For this program, okay. So naturally I thought, no, okay, I will also speak something besides singing songs. So I think you can provide me some 15 to 20 minutes time.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So while talking about Tagore, it's an endless effort, because as Newton said, Sir Isaac Newton said about knowledge is that we are standing in front of the ocean, okay, and just picking up pebbles from the seashore, while the vast knowledge of ocean remains untouched. Something like that. I don't exactly now remember saying, but it's like that. While the vast ocean of knowledge is in front of us, we are yet to be touched, and we are just picking up pebbles on the seashore. So, talking about Rabindranath Tagore, like us people, is basically we are picking up pebbles on the seashore. We are not actually anything grabbing, trying to grab or have the capability to grab what Rabindranath Tagore had in himself. So he is what you say is such a talented, such a mega person that's beyond our imagination how to say about him. Obviously, we are not, even myself and not, neither anything probably is a Tagore researcher. We are not. So naturally, we will be only talking very few things about him that we can say. So, going into that, only from the journals or the magazines or the books or whatever is the newspaper or TV talks that come, we take these things up in ourselves, and then we try to reciprocate that to other people. Nothing much we can do about him. As a literary person, he is really beyond any imagination. He has touched probably every section of the literature world. Okay, whether it is short stories or novels or poems, whatever directions, sections we can think of, he has touched everything. Okay, maybe he got his Nobel Prize obviously for his poetry, that we know, but not only poetry. In every sections, as I've told you, he was a super crafter. He was among the best 5 short story writers of his times. Okay, in the league of Guy de Maupassant, Edgar Allan Poe, Somerset Maugham, and so on. So he got his Nobel Prize on poems for his poems. He was considered the best out of the best 5 short story writers of his times. So such a profound knowledge he had of all the subjects. Maybe Shakespeare, maybe he was much greater than Tagore in novel writing. Okay, maybe someone else, maybe greater in some other sections of it. But none, we cannot find any person, or I shouldn't say like that, we could find very few persons who can travel all the sections of the literary world. So he was such a profound person, and that's why he got his Nobel Prize in 1913, but around 1900, in a European journal, literary journal, he was accepted as a world poet, or as we say, Kobi Guru. So Vishwa Kobi or something, whatever we can say in Bengali or Hindi. But before, so 1913 and 1900, 13 years before his getting the Nobel Prize, he was accepted all over the world as a world poet. Now, here we are mostly talking about his songs. Okay, though someone will be reciting some poetry, someone will be saying a little part from his compositions, fine. But mostly we have gathered, or mostly any other programs that we see, people talk about his songs, people sing his songs. So that means what I want to focus is that, again, that he got Nobel Prize for his poems, but he was a master crafter of writing songs and giving the tune to them. And also he sang, many of his songs he sang himself also. So just unimaginable talent he had in this field. And the mood, at any time, he could have, he wrote his songs or poems or whatever it is at any time in the 24 hours time. I'll give you some examples. I'll focus on now songs only. So, it was early days in his Shantiniketan staying. So at that time, there was no, the houses they lived in were basically mud houses with thatched roof with the hay. Okay, you know in the village that you get the mud houses with thatched roof. So in Shantiniketan in those days, in the early stages of Shantiniketan or Vishwabharati, they used to stay in these mud houses. So in one of the nights, in a monsoon night, that was dead at night. He was sleeping, and then suddenly the rain came. Okay, and it started pouring heavily, gradually, and a lot of thunderstorms going on outside. And what happened is that gradually the water started trickling down from the roof of the thatched house onto his bed. Okay, and he was sleeping there, so the water fell on him, and naturally his went away, sleep went away. And what to do? He then obviously left the bed and went to the chair and he sat there. And then suddenly came out from him. A poem came out from him, or a song came out through his head. At the dead of night, he cannot sleep. Rain is pouring on his bed, and he is sitting on the table and chair what he has in that room with the lantern lighting up. He started writing. So I'll not just say the words, but I will sing a couple of lines on that. Just see what is the situation. At the dead of night, he is writing. তোমায় গান শোনাবো, তাই তো আমাকে জাগিয়ে রাখো, ওগো দুঃখ জাগানি তোমায় গান শোনাবো, চমক দিয়ে ডাকো, বুকে চমক দিয়ে ডাকো, ঘুম ভাঙানি তোমার গান শোনাবো. So this is again a full song he wrote at that time. He gave the music. So he was of that caliber. Then again, another song I'll say here about this thing. It was when his son, youngest son, died. Okay, so at a very early age, he had a lot of facing these things, difficult situations in life, lot of sorrow, lot of whatever possibility, difficult situations in life he has faced. So he has lost his wife, he has lost his daughters, two of his daughters, he has lost his youngest son. Like that, in front of him, he has seen all these things. So that man, when his son died, it was probably some winter months. He was terribly upset. Later he was, in the coming spring, he was in Shantiniketan. And the spring and early summer, you get a lot of good winds blowing during the evening, very soothing, very pleasant wind blows here in our place, even in Shantiniketan. So people during that early summer and spring, they will go out in the roads and meadows, especially when it is in full moon, that is in Purnima. So a pleasant light is also there. The weather is very pleasant, soothing. So many people in the campus have gone out from the roads, and they are strolling here and they are chatting. But he could not go out because of the deep sorrow prevailing in him due to the death of his youngest son. So then again, he got another poem or song coming into him, and he starts writing. So I am not telling the front portion of it, and I'll sing about the latter part of it to to show you how he is expressing his feelings. আমাদের যে জাগতে হবে কি জানি সে আসবে কবে আমাদের যে জাগতে হবে কি জানি সে আসবে কবে যদি যদি আমায় পড়ে তাহার মনে বসন্তের এই মাতাল সমীরণে আজ জ্যোৎস্না রাতে সবাই গেছে বলে। So he expresses his feeling like that way, that so many people have gone out, but he cannot go. He has to wait in the room so that, and he has to keep it clean and tidy, so that there is a possibility that his son may come to him and meet him, and then he can interact. So during that period, when his very close relatives are one by one dying, so he felt, every one of us also, there is one thing, I don't know whether this thing is now prevailing or not, planchette, the term called planchette, the term planchette or not. So that is to three people probably, they sit together and they focus on a particular topic or a particular person rather who is dead, recently dead. And they try to, as if they get convinced that they can bring the person by focusing all parallelly together and can interact with that person. So Rabindranath himself also fell into this thing. So he had come to a lot of these programs like meeting people, sitting together for the planchette to bring those relatives to have an interaction. So as I was telling you, the situations, any situation, whether extremely harsh or very favorable, in any condition, he could have written a poem or a song like that. And not only that, he was fixed to only Indian form of music. He knew a lot of other European forms also incorporated in his songs, and also obviously the classical Indian classical music, all three. So he had an extensive study of all those things, and so he incorporated them in this thing. So again, I'll give you two instances. One from the classical Indian side, is delivering a song, and then again one from the Western thing. Again, two short things I think I can give you. Like this one from a firstly, hear the song and then I'll রসয়থলে যায় অনন্ত গগনে So this is from the Rag Malkosh. It's not pure Malkosh, but Vishnu Malkosh. So, let me tell you the Malkosh from there, just one line. Lage latake guru sharanana ke moy lage latake guru sharanana ke moy. So this is Malkosh, and this Ananda Dhara Boiche Bhuvane, they composed based on this Malkosh. Then again, if you go to the Western world, he has also brought in his composition all this Western music. So one small example is this. Bhule 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 bohe dhiva meerumas. Bhule 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 bohe dhiva. So this is a British music. Music from this. Probably it is Irish. I just don't remember. So what I want to focus is that he had encapsulated. Though he's a poet only, basically, but this whole world of music, he had encapsulated himself. And not only that, he was a good painter. We don't talk about his paintings, but he was a good painter. Okay, also. So he was one of the beginners of the new mode of painting that started in this thing. More famous was obviously his nephew, but he was also as a very good painter. So we are not going into that. So you can see what a huge reservoir of talent he was. So all aspects of the literary world was there in himself. So with these words, I want to conclude whatever I have to say. This is again, as I've told you, it is just like picking up pebbles on the seashore instead of visiting the sea itself. So that was my picking up pebbles on the seashore. Now, coming to the songs that I said I would be singing. So I have chosen these songs basing on the fact that we are again back into life. Okay, we were nearly dead. More than 50 lakhs of people died all over the world. We have seen a lot of sorrow. Practically every house knows about a death among their close relatives or friends that we have faced. So, from that end, we are not going to start to move on again, breathing into life. So, life is again springing back. So, from the sorrow to the smiles of life, we are going to change over. We are gradually going to change over. We are changing over. So that is the topic that I have thought that I want to produce through my songs. Obviously, I will not take it again, because as I have told you, he has encapsulated everything, all aspects of life in his literary work. I have brought printed copies of them because I am the senior most person going to retire now. So I forget a lot of things very quickly. So in front of you, if I forget, that would be something that would be a loss. I mean, I'll be losing this thing on. So that's why, so that if I don't forget, I have taken a printout of the songs. But I'll try not to look at it. Okay? The first one is, the reality is that obviously one day we have to end our life. The life will go away. But again, the next day a new life will spring up. So on this, the first song. আছে দুঃখ আছে দহন লাগে তবু শান্তি তবু আনন্দ তবু অনন্ত জাগে আছে দুঃখ আছে তবু প্রাণ নিত্য ধারা হাসে সূর্য চন্দ্র তারা তবু প্রাণ নিত্য ধারা হাসে সূর্য চন্দ্র তারা বসন্ত নিকুঞ্জে আসে বিচিত্র রাগে আছে দুঃখ আছে বেলায় যায় তরঙ্গ ওঠে কুসুম ঝরিয়া পড়ে বেলায় যায় তরঙ্গ ওঠে কুসুম ঝরিয়া পড়ে নাহি ক্ষয় নাহি শেষ নাহি নাহি দৈন বেশ নাহি ক্ষয় নাহি শেষ নাহি নাহি দৈন ক্লেশ সেই পূর্ণতর পায়ে মনস্থান মাগে আছে দুঃখ আছে মৃত্যু বিরহ দহন লাগে তবু শান্তি তবু আনন্দ তবু অনন্ত জাগে আছে দুঃখ আছে মৃত্যু। So this was the first one. The second one is that about this whole world there is so much life, and the most entertaining part of it is that I am a part of that life. So I'll be enjoying this life at the fullest. So this is the main theme of the song, that the whole world is full of life. Obviously, not talking about the COVID now. full of life, and since I am a part of this life, I am surprised to be there in this world where life is thriving.